really interesting idea. I'm really glad I ran into you here in the elevator. I've run into a lot of you in the elevator this week, and you've given me a lot of great pitches. Some of them have been actually set in elevators or other great creative settings. I've really appreciated seeing the creativity you've put into them, as well as the grounding, the theory, the practice that you've all embedded in those. And so really a lot of great work coming up right now. I wanted to point out a couple of those that seem to be particularly interesting. Some of the ones that didn't necessarily rise to the top, you can find a lot of great ones that have risen to the top through votes. You can also look through, there's a lot of other great ones in there as well to be seen. I thought I'd call out a couple of them that were worth it for various reasons. One of them was by Yolanda H. It was actually made in Scratch, so it's an animated pitch in Scratch set in an elevator. It's a pitch about keyboarding software to learn keyboarding for people who don't have the use of all 10 fingers. It's really interesting, grounded in some real needs of a real population, as well as some pretty realistic technologies as well. I also want to point out Marcy's, who ran into me in a one-room schoolhouse in the Smoky Mountains. And Marcy's pitch was about providing access to education for girls in Pakistan through Minecraft-like scenarios in school. Again, providing real access, real needs to a real population through some pretty realistic software. So really great work, not only for those two and the ones that have risen to the top, but for a lot of the other ones we've seen as well. For those of you that are giving your pitches, they've been really great. Some of you may be lagging and catching up to this week a little bit late. That's fine. There's still many people that are active here. That's okay. We'll leave the forums up for some time to come. For those of you that are still struggling to get that feedback, we've created a series of new groups. You can find them. They're called Pitches About X or Y or Z. So for example, there's a Pitches About Language Learning Technologies. You can join that and give your pitch within that group. Each one of those groups has a forum dedicated to it. So if you want to get sort of a smaller group with tighter feedback, you might give your original pitch in there and think about how you can get that feedback and then give that out to the main forums afterwards. In general, the participation has been really great in this course, and we've really appreciated that, both in the forums and in helping each other out and in some of the live synchronous activities. We have set up actually a new forum called Course Design, which is specifically for getting feedback about the various elements that we've used in the course or haven't used in the course, and how we might use those better throughout the rest of this course and into the future as well. So please feel free to give us feedback in there. That can be constructive, positive, or negative feedback about ways we could use things better, ways we could redesign the forums. The more specific you can be, the better, but please feel free to use those forums. We would really appreciate you giving feedback in there. Specifically, we've had many different sort of synchronous events. The Ask Me Anything. We had the Talk About. We have an Unhangout coming up this week. Please comment on those in particular, how you felt those were useful or why you may or may not have participated in those. On that note, we do have an Unhangout coming up on Monday the 10th at 11 a.m. Eastern, so many of you should feel free to join that as well if you can. I will say we're also, some people were concerned about points in the course. You should not worry about points. The passing grade for this course is something like 3%. We've made it so that basically people who participate can pass. But you should worry about feedback. So if you're not getting that adequate feedback, post your ideas in the forums. Even if it was a peer assessment, you should feel free to post it in the forums. That provides a lot of people with opportunities to get additional feedback, and they've used that and it's worked well. If still after that you're not having the feedback that you need, contact one of the staff in the course and they will help get you that feedback from the rest of the community. This week the topic is group learning, as it is coincidental with all this talk that I've just given about group learning within our course itself. MOOCs is one of the topics. There's several interesting assignments. There's an ethnography. There's a pair learning activity that you're going to be doing as well. And there's a use case scenario that you'll be doing, which is the next step in your project. With regard to the project, you should not worry about the technical feasibility of you in particular implementing what you're doing. It's really a design activity. What you should do should be realistic. You think that it's possible within the realm of the technology that we have now, but it doesn't necessarily need to be something that you in particular could do yourself, certainly by the end of this course. So keep it realistic, but keep it interesting, and think about what could be technologies that could potentially transform education or learning. With that, I'll say that we'll see you online in the course. Maybe we'll see some of you in the Unhangout, and we hope that you're continuing to enjoy the course.